Hi everyone. As you know, we are busy with our touch points, and I thought it would be cool if I record it for you that you can have a look prior to our touch point and come prepared to the session. For our first one, we are covering part one of the PoE, and you needed to have the printed out PoE that I handed to you. And if you don't have it, you can access it online on your devices as well. So, this is an important part of us summarizing key aspects that are important for your PoE and your final summative assessment for the semester. And you might know that this PoE is the coolest one amongst the others, and I'm hoping that you are going to have awesome marks and an awesome experience as well. So, first up, just for clarity, the PoE is split into two parts. Now, you know, if you follow in the guide, the first page gives you the academic honesty declaration. It then covers the rubric in terms of referencing aspects that you need to pay attention to. And then we're going to page all the way to part one. And that will be on page 5. Now, as from page 5, the PoE then splits into two parts. We've got part 1, which is focused on your opinion piece essay and also on a PowerPoint presentation that you need to put together. In the following one, part 2, you have to put a mural together in Canva and then summarize with the last task as form of a lesson plan. So in this recording, we're only covering part 1, and then I'll share a link that you can use for part 2. Okay, so you're going to follow in the guide with me and make the needed notes as we go along. So for part 1, we are looking at the fundamentals of teaching intermediate phase social sciences. And for this one, you're going to refer to page 5 and 6 of the PoE document. Now, on page 5, there's two opinions given for you that forms the baseline of how you interpret what this PoE requires you to do. So, two opinions on page 5, one by the NPC and one by Miziobi. You're going to read those two and then decide which one you will use that almost forms the framework of your writing for this particular opinion piece. You can also use it to write against an opinion as well, depending on what perspective you want to use to write. But ideally, you want to choose one that aligns best with what you've learned about the CAPS document in terms of the aims, the skills, and the philosophy. And you also want to align the opinions with, or you want to align best with the opinions of the PMG statement that's on page 5 as well. So these are more or less the clues that I can give you to help you to structure. And you can also write in the reverse format where you take an opinion and write against it to justify as well. But ideally, this is a clue that you need to use. So let's summarize in essence what it is that you are required to do. Now, you did some research for me as a task where you unpacked what an opinion piece requires. So if you forgot what it requires, go back to the opinion piece, or alternatively, click on the link, the hyperlink that's embedded in the PoE document, and it will open up a website where the opinion piece is discussed and clarified. But majority of you did an awesome job by summarizing what it requires. So just go back to your summaries and take out key aspects that you want to emphasize or structure your work in alignment with what an opinion piece is about. So that's a whole separate preparation part that needed to be done. Then you're going to write for about 600 to 800 words, double spacing and Arial font. I demonstrated what double spacing and Arial font means in class. So if you're still unsure, play around on the Word document or pop me an email or come see me before our lectures end on Friday. Then you support your opinion on the matter by referring to the skills, aims, and concepts for social sciences. You're also going to evaluate the relevance, the nature, and philosophy of social science. So those are your key aspects that need to be touched on and emphasized and spoken about in this opinion piece. And obviously, you're going to reference where you take those insights from. So you're going to show sound evidence and you're ultimately going to complete with a reference list. Note that your opinion piece leans heavily on the CAPS document, which means that you need to reference your CAPS document in text in your opinion piece, and you need to have the reference list with the correct referencing of the Department of Education 2011 document as we discussed in class and as per the examples that I've shown you. If you do that and you follow these bullet points and the guidelines that was given and discussed prior, you should be fine. So ultimately, you will get your 30 marks for part 1, 1.1 of the PoE. If you're still stuck and a bit unclear, please, you're more than welcome to see me. So this was just a summary of what we discussed in class because we did prepare this one. And I hope that you're all confident to complete 1.1. I'm now going to move on to 1.2, which is on page 6 of your CAPS document. And here, as we've mentioned, the focus shifts to a PowerPoint presentation. And based on the number of ICE tasks and activities and presentations that I've seen, you are all equipped to complete a PowerPoint presentation. But should you be unclear, play around with the app first, try and utilize it, and then pop me an email if you've got any questions. Okay. So on page 6, you'll see question 1.2 also has an opening quote that is put there for you. And it says, Social studies connect students with the real world. In today's interconnected world, the students must be prepared to interact with people of all cultures and communities, and social studies prepares them for this. That is your clue in what should be embedded in your particular task. So please take note of that. Then, what's key for us to consider is what exactly do they want you to do? Now, on page 6, it says you are required to conduct a professional development workshop for intermediate phase social science teachers at your school. In view of the statement above that I just read for you, and the new way of engaging your learners, everything that we did in class, describe the features of the 21st century. Now, I try to show you these features with every single activity that we unpacked. And we did quite a bit, so you've got a lot of tools at your disposal. So, the 21st century social science teacher and classroom. Bear in mind the curriculum and give examples against any selected topics of CAPS. Now, that any selected topic of CAPS is awesome because you can then use any topic that you are confident with unpacking. But please remain within the grade 4 social sciences document. Okay, so let's go back. You are going to put a developmental type of workshop presentation together. And development means that you're trying to equip someone with a skill. So you are going to present this development workshop to other social sciences teachers. So take note of the theme for your presentation. Take note of the tone of it as well, based on what they asked there. Then you're going to use the statement that they gave you at the top to help you think what type of examples from the CAPS document can you give in your presentation or in your PowerPoint planning so that your teachers gain insight on what exactly and how teachers, social science teachers, engage in the 21st century in the classroom. So remember the opinion piece or the top, the quote in the at the top of it says social studies connect students with the real world. Take note of that quote or that outline or the wording there. It helps you think about what should you incorporate into your PowerPoint. Once you've done that, you're going to put information together that uses only 8 to 10 slides. So you've got a cover page and you've got a reference page at the end, and in between, you've got these 8 to 10 slides. So I will allow you to have a cover page and a reference page separate. The 8 to 10 slides you can use for the content that you want to unpack. You make it engaging, make it interactive. I've shown you various tips and tools on what to do in my sessions as I taught. You can use that or your own inspiration and own creativity, but it is important to do the following two things in your presentation. Number one, amplify the requirements of an effective social sciences educator. So go through all the learning units that we covered and draw insight from what do you think an effective social science educator should have and display in the 21st century classroom. Explain the integrated approach to teaching social sciences based on your appreciation of the possible barriers that we discussed. The barriers, remember, we had an whole activity about it. It's listed in your teacher's guide. Take note of that and pull from that particular source. And you're also welcome to use your teacher's guide in this activity and reference accordingly. The main document that you're going to reference here is your CAPS document, but you're more than welcome to lean on your learner's textbook as well as your teacher's guide and use the reference guide to help you. You must include a reference list, please, and you must reference in text in your slides as well. And for this, you can get an easy 20 marks. I know you're going to do well with this one because you're a lot of tech-savvy students in class, and so this one should be one of the cool activities that you're going to conclude with, and it's for 20 marks. So if you've done activity part 1 successfully, it's going to be 20 marks for this particular 1.2, and you had another 30 marks for the first one, which ultimately gives you 50 marks in the bag. I'm hoping that this is clear and that it helps you to plan, and if you're unsure, please do message me. So what we'll cover in the next video, we're going to look at the Canva app and how you can design a mural. And we're also going to just reflect again on assessment of learning strategies again. And then ultimately, you will look out for the links and the clues, and you'll access my YouTube page for that particular recording to prepare for part 2. So I'm hoping that this helps you and it allows you to plan. And remember, you're more than welcome to pop me an email. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.